Aloha, and welcome to another in the series, A Better Day. I'm State Senator Sam Slom from the 9th Senatorial District, which stretches from Hawaii Kai to Diamond Head. And for the next half hour, we're going to be talking issues and updating you on what's going on at your state capitol during the 2016 legislative session. In a few minutes, we're going to have a very special guest, and we'll be talking about transportation and energy and taxes, all the things that you really love. Well, look, here we are already in March, and the legislature is pumping along. We're going to have our first crossover voting. A lot of the bills have been separated, the wheat from the chaff and all that, because we had more than 2,500 bills introduced this session. As always, it's still the budget. In the even-numbered year, like this year, it's the supplemental budget, and we're still looking that over. But there are also big proposals for infrastructure, for repairs to our schools, for a number of other issues. You know, the governor had proposed moving OCCC from Kalihi out to Halava, but that's a big price tag, $500 million. And in this year, when we've got a lot of other financial demands, we take priorities. So we've got a lot of nonprofits also come forward. They do good work in the community, but all of this money adds up, and then there are new programs. I took the position this year, I don't want new programs until we fulfill our promises for existing programs, and we still have to do that. But we've had all kinds of issues so far. One issue that got a lot of traction, is still going on, has to do with mandatory vaccinations. And a lot of parents and their children have come down and very passionate. They're against that, the mandatory part. So we have to look at things from the standpoint of the people that come to our hearings. It's a very important process. We look forward to it. All of us in the legislature, we learn from those public hearings because people tell us their experiences that we may not have shared. So that's coming down. Finances, climate change, all kinds of things that we're talking about. My favorite bill, though, this year is not a Senate bill. It's a House bill. And what does it have to do with? Well, it has to do with our famous waters and moat surrounding the Capitol. And a member of the House introduced a measure to make this a world-class entertainment event. Dancing waters like the Bellagio in Las Vegas. And people, he said, would come from all over the world to watch our dancing waters. Well, so far, they come from all over the state to watch how bad the moat has been since the completion of our state capitol in 1969. Leaks, repairs. Do you know that you're spending $100,000 a year, and you have been since 1969, just for, you know, patchwork repairs and all that? So again, we're looking at what are we going to do with the moat? Are we going to keep water? We're going to get rid of it? We're going to have an ice skating rink? Who knows? But a lot of money. We also have educational projects we're talking about, as we have been for 15 years. Air conditioning the schools or cooling them off. The HSTA, the teachers union, wants $800 million in new taxes, a 1% increase in the general excise tax for more salary increases for themselves. Is that fair? Can we afford it? We're still battling things like infrastructure statewide, mostly on Oahu, sewers, water, roads, the rail. So we've got a lot of decisions, and this is an election year. The electorate, the public, has shown us both nationally and locally that they're upset with us. They're upset with people in office not keeping their promises, not getting things done, and talking about the same things over and over again for decades. So there's pressure, and if you're a member of the public, then you should be pressuring your legislator and legislators and make us hold our feet to the fire, make us do the things that we say that we're going to do. Because all of these things are solvable. And it's not a question of shortness of time, we're out of here May 5th. It's political will and political backbone. And so you've got a great deal of clout. Our office, any office, will help you. There's also the legislative room that helps all people up on the 4th floor of the state capitol. And the website that we've got, it's really easy to get information and to testify even from your home or your business. But get involved, and don't let people tell you you can't make a difference, because you can, okay? All right, and if you need anything from my office, it's room 214 in the Capitol. We are the Senate minority. And we call this program a better day because we think that's what you're entitled to. Not just a new day, not just a good day, but a better day. So we'll talk more about that. Hey, look, I am really excited to have one of our leading state senators and a good friend of mine who I served with many years ago when I first came in. And then she's back again, and I'm really happy about that. She's State Senator Lorraine Inouye from the 4th Senatorial District on the island of Hawaii. Hilo and Kona and just about everywhere. Senator Inouye, welcome to A Better Day.
I'm happy to be here with you, Brother Sam.
Well, we've
talked about the new day.
Yeah, well, you know, we've talked about a lot of things in the past, and you've introduced some really good legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had to tell us to be bipartisan because we are. We work together.
Exactly.
We don't always agree, but we agree on a lot of things. So this year, you're the head of the Important Transportation Committee,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that you oversee highways, airports, harbors, and I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't have a complaint or a suggestion about that. So what are some of the initiatives that you've introduced so far?
We have an interesting year, and we're happy because many of our neighbor islands are so enthused about talking about the ferry system.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about super ferry. However, this year the discussion is with regards to the Department of Transportation and to have a feasibility study with regards to the service of a ferry. And it'll be a study, it'll be paid for by DOT, and hopefully they don't ask us for too much money.
Yeah.
But this study would include everything that we need to do correctly, the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So the study will include everything from the current laws that exist, talking about you must do an environmental impact statement, which we failed to, the assessments that go along with it, as well as assessing the opinions of our neighbor islands, as well as those living on Oahu. Mm-hmm. And so the farmers are happy again because they were involved with supporting it before. And that's one particular issue that's before us. We did pass the first measure, so we're on our way to the next committee. Another important measure that involved our next international airport, aside from the designation of Honolulu International Airport. We finally got the support from the governor this year, making the necessary improvements that has been lacking in South Kokomo.
And we're talking about Kona, of
and
course.
we're talking about the Kailua Kona International Airport status. So our committee, which Senator you sit on, passed legislation last week, or actually it's a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're in March now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this would designate that Kailua Kona International Airport also have the federal inspection program. And so that's very important with the renovations, the modernization program that's for Kailua Kona.
I think everybody supports the idea of Kona as a second international airport. But one of the sad things that happened is that the Ellison Onizuka Museum, which has been at that airport, is not going to be there anymore. And I know we have the family over here at the Capitol. We recognize them and all that. But what's going to happen with that? Are we going to have a place for it?
It's an option that they're looking at, and many of their supporters and all of us in the state are hoping that they'll continue, because the first notice was that they're just going to close. Mm-hmm. But there's too much of a value of information.
Yeah.
And so hopefully they'll find a place. And my recommendation to them as well, find a place where people and visitors alike, and our school children as well, that can find the place easily, can walk into an area rather than barred, you know, like the previous place was at the airport. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, it's not an easy task to do, just getting into an airport. And so hopefully they'll find a place where people can just walk in.
Hard to believe it's been 30 years.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. All of us remember what we were doing on that sad day with the Challenger.
It is.
But it's a legacy, and we can be proud of Ellison and proud of
we
the
have
program.
many students that so far enjoyed the history as well, but now are making decisions that they want to get part of the NASA program.
Yeah.
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 So
Before we go on to any more issues, I want to take a break a minute and reintroduce you. There may be some people that don't know. You've got a very interesting background, and you've got a very important leadership background. You were the mayor of the Big Island.
exactly.
And what else did you do? Tell us the Lorraine Inouye
Okay.
101. Come on.
Well, reason aside from becoming the mayor in 1990 as well, I started off my political career as just a local person in the hotel industry on Banyan Drive. And so I was appointed to the Planning Commission, and I served as chair at the end of my before the end of my term as well. But let me say that it's really interesting, and I look back and think about the things that we did back in the 70s when jobs were not to be found. Not too many visitors because the Hilo destination of all the overseas airlines came and went. And so we were the ones that made the decision on the Queen Kaahumanu Highway that there will be a resort area. So in the lava fields, our commission decided we will support including a destination for West Hawaii. And there we have all the resort hotels that everyone comes to visit. And so from there, the Prince Kuhio Mall that created jobs came from our commission in those days. However, moving forward, I ran for political office. I was on the county council for 8 years. And at the death of our late Mayor Akana, there was an opening, and so I decided at the urge of our people that we need competition. And so I decided as a female to jump into the race, a very tough election against the chairman of the council who was an attorney. And I was the underdog until the last precinct, and I won by 67 votes.
So you've got business experience, you've got executive experience and legislative. And when I first met you 20 years ago in the legislature, you were involved with agriculture.
Exactly. I have a 10-acre farm. We're growing anthuriums, but my husband has the master lease of about 40 acres growing anthuriums and being an exporter. But the senator, Lorraine became a senator, and I said, well, I'm the president of the 10-acre farm. My husband is the vice president, but I'll give him the work to do. Hence, folded my company into his export business. Have him take care of the business as long as he pays me the cash for the 10 acres of my flowers.
Spoken like a true woman.
Exactly.
Always it's the cash, not credit, but the cash, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, I'm happy to return to the Senate as chair of the Transportation and Energy Committee and sitting on Ways and Means and the Hawaiian Affairs Committee and Public Safety. I'm back to at least do my contribution to the people of my island as well as the state.
And I hear you're a pretty good golfer besides.
Well, it hasn't been good for the last year. I've been too busy doing the people's work.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy
Well, that's
to
why
get
I'll
on the
never amount
greens.
to anything because I don't play golf. So
I'll be happy to get back on the greens. However,
yeah.
Senator, talking about crossing the lines and working in partnership with the minority, that you and I decided we're going to co-introduce a bill to address taxes. So what did we do?
Well, and particularly we're talking about that bill that has the state skimming off 10% from the rail tax surcharge and also skimming off money for special funds, something that I've talked about for a long time that I don't like the creation of new special funds.
And I think for those in the audience out there listening to us as well, we allowed the state of Hawaii to at least take 10% of the taxes that should go to the city and county to support the rail, and that's the 1% that they're paying now.
And everybody knows that I'm opposed desperately opposed to the rail. I want it killed. I want to put a stake in its heart. But when we're talking about how they got this 10%, I was at the original hearings back in 2005, and they were talking about a one-time charge for assessment, $3 million, get some equipment, get some people. But it became a windfall, and it became a tax, an unauthorized tax for the state.
Exactly, and we agreed at that time as well. So I return after 6 years, and I find it's still the same. Right. So we decided we're going to support you as well, and have the Budget and Finance Committee and the Tax Department tell us where has this money gone, and exactly how much is going to cost only on administering the measure or the process and the program. We want the balance to go back to the city and county and complete its mission. So the 10% may not be the 10%, but what we did was we want answers, and the people deserve answers as well.
And I wish more of my colleagues would take that position, that we ask hard questions and we get the answers.
Exactly.
So far, you know, people come in and they don't tell the truth to the legislature, and then the legislature acts on that information, and it's erroneous.
Well, another bill that is before us as well, and my recommendation is the people need to come and voice opinions.
Absolutely.
The administration, the governor wants to raise the gas tax, wants to raise the registration, the car registration fees, wants to raise another portion of it. It slips my mind, 3.
The weight tax.
The weight tax.
Weight tax, registration, and gasoline. And that's only at the state level because the city and county does the same thing, right? Yep.
We're not sure where it's going to go.
Yep.
I'm having very difficulty. I'm having hard times with regards to any additional fees we're going to add. I'm not sure if this is the right year to do that.
Well, from my standpoint, it's never the right year.
Exactly.
But we use that word fee in lieu of tax because a fee is a tax. It's mandatory. You've got to pay it. And my position has been that we have not had a shortage of money, but we don't always husband those resources and find out where they are, and we're not diversifying our economy as we used to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You've got transportation, you've got big issues, and a lot of things that are involved. But how about energy? How about the energy part of it?
Well, energy has come a long way on renewables.
Yeah.
We do know that the federal government has decided they're going to extend the tax credits for the renewable energy programs. So now the state, we do have, we've been very kind and extended the tax credit as well. However, my measure this year is to make an adjustment, because we all know when we decided we want people connected to providing renewable energy, rooftops on their homes, as well as the commercial and private businesses. However, we can't continue, the state can't continue providing those credits, the tax credits. There has to be an end, because there is a pot of $250 million that's erased from our own big general fund.
Well, you know, and the problem with tax credits, like the late Lowell Kalapa Tax Foundation always said, what you're doing, you're having the government picking winners and losers.
Exactly.
And so you're shifting a portion of the money from one group of people to another group.
When we decided we want people to be connected, provide their own electricity to the grid, however, it has to come to an end. So this year, we are amending the measure to do it like the federal government has done. And instead of the 30% we're enjoying now, or the 35%, we're going to scale that down within a 6-year period. So from 35, we go to 30, 25, until it ends. So hopefully that we don't continue giving out a mass amounts of dollars to the private sector, as you did say, because we're only taking care of a few of the population, one segment.
And the whole idea with the tax credits has always been, to help a startup or help a program
Exactly.
and all that. Whether that's justified or not, that's a separate argument. But the problem is once we adopt these tax credits, they go on and on and on, and people become dependent on the tax credits.
Exactly.
Right?
So we never know, because we
Yeah.
may end up shelving the entire thing, but we'll see where we go from there.
What's some of your other legislative issues that you favor of?
I'd like to say that we are looking, and I hopefully this year, that we will allow the Department of Transportation as well to see if we can privatize our airports to the form of an authority.
Didn't you just use a bad word? Privatize, the P word?
I know.
I mean,
It's a bad-
the unions get frenetic when you say privatize.
Well,
right?
and actually that's what it is.
Yeah.
Creating an authority to manage the airport.
Yeah.
It's done in our country, and I think in good management, the airport authority, presently all the users of the airports are paying for the airports.
That's right.
They're doing the modernization plan. We don't give them any monies. So let's see how the authority will manage the system and save the state some monies, because now we will concentrate on highways and harbors.
Major airport modernization went back to the Lingle days, and they unveiled those spectacular plans, billions of dollars, and very little has been done. And people that travel from here, whether they go to large airports on the mainland or small, they are struck by how far behind our airport
And Senator, you're absolutely right, because I was chair of Transportation Committee in the Senate along with the Lingle administration.
Yeah.
We worked hard jointly, and we passed a $2 billion modernization plan then. I left in 2008. I was gone for 6 years. I returned last year, and nothing happened.
See, you can't leave. That's the whole thing.
So
You should stay
we're
here.
back on the track,
Yeah.
and things are moving along.
Just think if we had started that and finished on
it
schedule.
would have.
Right? We would have
San
a
Francisco-
first-class airport.
San Francisco Airport was built in 3 years. Los Angeles Airport in 2 years. It's a shame that we've come to almost 12 years without anything.
See, and the problem is, Senator Inouye, as you know, I mean, we're a wonderful people as a state, and we're very generous, and we're very forgiving, and we're very patient. But I think sometimes we're too patient because, and particularly, we don't hold our politicians, to their
Accountable.
promises. Why should it take 3 times, 4 times, 5 times longer to do everything in our state? And the public would be so happy if we just did even the small things.
Well,
on time, on budget.
Well, what's very interesting with the discussion, that the information we received from comments from the public and from the users at the airport was saying that because administrations in the state of Hawaii change either for years
Yeah.
or 8 years, that people have different attitudes, and then, as you say, we commit to something,
Yeah.
and then it falls apart.
But here's the thing that I've been saying for decades now. When somebody is running for office and it's a new person, the voters should be asking them, well, how do you stand on this modernization? How do you stand on taxes? Instead, it's all about, hey, what high school you grad? Hey, what's your favorite sushi? Right? I mean, we've
Right,
made that
right.
a cultural art form.
Right.
And this is an election year. You've got to do that. You've got to ask the tough questions and get the answers from
Well-
those people who want your money and your vote.
Well, the process, and you've done a good job about encouraging the public to speak up. Come
Well,
to
we're both in total
yes.
agreement about that. the
Come to
necessary
the
need.
hearings, and that's why we have hearings. Hearings so that we hear from the public, whether it's good stuff or bad. And I've held that to all my years as being an elected official.
Yes,
to
you have.
make sure that we hear different opinions, because, as we all say, we don't know everything.
Right.
So we learn every day.
And the public, the taxpayers, you're the masters. We're your servants. You pay for everything that we do down here. You pay for everything that goes on. So if you're unhappy about it, or more importantly, you have alternatives or suggestions, come down and share with us, right?
Correct.
Don't give up. Don't
Correct.
let anybody tell you that you can't make changes. It may be difficult. It may take time, but you've got to do it for the keiki.
And-
We're always saying whatever we do is for
And
the
you
keiki,
know,
right?
over the years, I think you know, we've done some good. We've listened to the people,
Yeah.
and unfortunately,
That's what keeps us here. Occasionally
exactly,
we do something good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the process.
Yeah.
And we're going into almost closing day. We're in March now, and so in
But there's still time. There's still time,
there's
right?
still a month and a half to go.
Yep.
And so until the end of the day that things have happened.
Oh, and by the way,
Things have happened.
That's a good reminder. Nothing is dead or nothing is past here until we gavel out, and this time it's going to be Thursday, May 5th. So if somebody says, oh, don't worry, that bill's dead, or oh, don't worry, that bill's going to pass. If you're interested in it, get involved, because anything, as Senator Inouye said, we've had example after example on the last hour of the last day.
Exactly.
Things that were dead come alive mysteriously. It's kind
And
of like
things
the
that look
zombies.
good
The zombies
dies.
thing. Yeah, that's right. Well, Senator Lorraine Inouye, we appreciate your service. We appreciate your positions on issues. As I say, we're not always in agreement, but you've been fair in terms of having hearings and encouraging people to come down. Been a staunch supporter for the neighbor islands and for businesses as well as responsible government. So we appreciate that. And
You're
thank you
welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you for being with us for a better day. And thank you, too, for tuning us in. If you need any information, you can call Senator Inouye's office or my office, or go to the Legislative Access Office. In the meantime, you have a better day. Aloha.
Aloha.